This is going to be a quick how-to video for taking models and changing them over to equations. It's going to be real important on your test coming up. So this first part, on number 1, those little long blocks, I know it's kind of hard to see because it's not written super well on there, but these are all x's, just so you guys know. So first I'm going to count up how many x's I've got on the left side. So going through and counting them, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 x's. So the first part of my equation is going to be 6x. Now I'm going to count up how many positives I've got, or so just number ones I've got. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So I have 18. So I'm going to have plus 18. That's my entire left side. I have my equal sign in the middle, so I'm going to go ahead and write my equal sign. Now on the right side, again, those are all x's, so I'm going to count up how many x's I've got. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 x's. So I'm going to write out 8x, because that's how many I've got there. Now, these ones, these are all negatives. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negatives. So I'm going to write this as minus 8. That's my full equation. Now, at this point, I could solve for x and figure out what it's worth, but on this one, I really just wanted you to write out the equation. Taking a look at number 2, I've got 1, 2, 3 triangles that are negative x's. So I'm going to call this negative 3x. And I've got 1, 2 positives. Those are just ones places, so I'm going to count it as 2 ones places. There's my equal sign. And now on the right side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. So I've got a total of 8 on the right side. No x's on the right side. Now it would just be a 2-step equation if I wanted to solve that one. This one, a lot of people struggle with this one. I want you guys to realize that this side is worth the same as this side. So on this one, I'm going to have, I'm going to go ahead, like my right 2, let's see if I can get this colored in right, except my pen's not working again. That's neat. There we go. Here's my 2. So I've got 2, and I'm putting those two things on top together. So I'm adding these. And then here's my 3x right here. So I'm adding on my 3x. And those two blocks up top are the same as the bottom. So this bottom part here, the whole thing on the bottom is worth 8. So that whole thing is going to be worth 8. Taking a look at number 4, I'm going to do the same thing that I did last time. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 x's on the left side. So I'm going to call that 4x. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 ones. So I'm going to add those together, and it's going to be worth the opposite side. So that whole thing is going to be equal to whatever I've got on the right side. Well, on the right side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 x's. So I'm just going to call it 8x. Number 5, very similar to number 3. This whole top part is worth this whole bottom part. So I'm going to start with the top part. So that 21 is worth everything on the bottom. So I've got 21, and that's going to equal what I've got on the bottom. On the bottom, I've got 2 x's, and so I'm going to add, I've got my 9.4 right there. So this 9.4 is going to be my last number over here, 9.4. And again, I could do a 2-step equation and solve for x on that one to figure out exactly what they're worth. Moving on, this is going to be number 6. Now, this one's a little trickier just because they give you a key up at the top. That's what I need you guys to know. This part right here is the key. It's telling me what each thing is worth. So these are all worth 1. So that's got those two right there. And then these right here are negatives. I'm going to do my negatives in red this time. So those are all negatives right there. So pretty much everything I'm marking in green is going to be positive. Everything I'm going to mark in red is going to be negative. And then the long blocks are going to be my x's. So I'm going to start with the x's first. On the left side, my x is this long block according to my key, and I only have 1 of those x's. I could say 1x, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to put just x. And I'm adding that up with what I've got all on the left side. So I'm going to add on, I have 2 of my positives, so I've got plus 2, and I've got 3 negatives. So I'm going to call that minus 3. I could do plus -3, but that's more trouble than it's worth. I'm just going to call it minus 3. And that is all equal to everything I've got on the right side. Well, on the right side, I already kind of counted them up, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 positives on the right side. So that whole thing is going to be equal to 8. A more simplified version of this one, I could do that 2 minus 3 would be negative 1. I'm just going to kind of do this off to the side real quick. I could call this x minus 1 equals 8. That is the same thing as what I've got up top, just so you guys are aware. On to number 7. Same kind of gig. All the long blocks are going to be my x's. All the ones are going to be positives, except for these right here where they've got the little negatives marked. We're going to have to be careful about that. So up top, I'm going to go ahead and start coloring in what I've got. Let's start with the long blocks. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's. So 6 x's there. And I've got a lot of other stuff, a lot of ones over there. So now I got to count up all my ones. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I've got 26 ones on that side. It's going to be equal to the opposite side. And on the right side, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, 8 x's on the right side. So 8x. And now I got a ton of positives over here that I'm going to have to count up. I'm running out of colors. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 ones. But then right next to it, I've got a bunch of negatives. I'm going to leave those in white. Actually, no, I'll do that in gray this time because those are kind of negative or whatever else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 negatives. I could either add the 8 negatives on. I'm just going to do minus 8. I think the whole point of that is they're trying to cancel those out. So just a quick summary on this one. If I wanted to summarize what I've got listed here, this would be 6x plus 26 is equal to 8x because these two would cancel each other out. Number 8. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to count up all my x's on the left side. So I've got 1, 2, 3 x's. So I have 3 x's. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've got 9 positives, so plus 9. Now on the right side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. So I've got 4x. And then on the bottom part, let's see, pick a new color. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 negatives. So I'm going to call that minus 4. I'm going to change that little minus to a little darker. That's good enough on number 8. And finally, number 9. Again, up top is a key. Tell me what each thing is worth. The long blocks are x's. If the blocks were dark, they'd be negative x's. And then all the dark blocks are going to be negative, or small blocks are going to be negative 1. So I'm going to go through, going to highlight everything real quick. So I'm going to deal with my x's first. So I've got 2 x's on the left side. So 2x. And it's going to be plus. Well, it looks like I've only got 2 positive ones, so I'm going to do plus 2. Then I've still got some negative stuff on there, so I've got to add on. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negatives. So I'm going to do, I know I wrote that plus, but I'm going to change that to a minus 6. I could do plus negative 6, but I'd rather have a minus 6 there. The whole thing is going to be equal to the right side. So the right side, I've got 1x, so I could write 1x, but I'm just going to put a single x instead because I think that makes more sense. And then I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. So I have 8. And I'm not sure why I did that right there. I put that equal sign. I'm trying to get a total for right there. That should not have been an equal sign. We're adding those two things together on the right side. And I still want that to be black instead. Guys, I hope you're pretty comfortable with coming up with these equations. Because coming up on your tests, you've got to be able to identify the equations and you got to be able to solve them afterwards. We'll talk more about this in class, but if you have any questions, please come to tutorials, ask, and I will help you guys out.